You're listening to the Friday edition of the Shed Geek Podcast, brought to you by Shed Geek Marketing. At Shed Geek Marketing, we've assembled a hand-picked team of specialists from across the shed and portable building industry to help manufacturers, dealers, and service providers grow smarter and scale faster. From websites and SEO to Google Ads, meta campaigns, content creation, video production, lead funnels, systems integrations, and industry-specific lead gen tools, we help businesses build real momentum instead of chasing random marketing trends. Today, Shed Geek Marketing is holding down this title sponsor spot at the top of the show, but this could just as easily be your company, featured right here in front of thousands of industry professionals, business owners, and decision makers every single week. If you'd like information about title sponsorship, podcast advertising, or our 2026 Shed Geek Media Kit, reach out to us at info@shedgeek.com. And now, onto the podcast. Welcome back to another episode of the Shed Geek Podcast. Coming to you today from Metropolis, Illinois. It is a beautiful late spring day here, sunny and 85. We could not ask for any more. Today, I am joined by Mr. Rick Elmore, possibly Ricky Elmore. I've seen it both ways. I think one might have been in his younger ball playing days, but I think it's going to be a really good one. He has a great service that really goes to the heart of what this industry is about. So we're looking forward to that. Before we get rolling, just a couple things so you know how to stay plugged in with us. Of course, the Shed Geek call-in line, Shannon's personal cell phone number. Please give him a call, shoot him a text anytime, day, night, weekend. We'd love to hear from you all, 618-309-3648. To get a hold of us, info@shedgeek.com is the email address. You can always go to the website, of course, www.shedgeek.com. Visit our Facebook page. The Shed Sales Professionals page on Facebook does such a great job of keeping everyone informed, sharing, and really growing the industry as a whole. And of course, if you or someone you know, one of your relatives is in the playing community, tell them about the call-in line, 330-997-3055. We really want to be able to serve everyone, and we've noticed lately that we're getting a ton of call-ins, so hopefully everyone is sharing with friends and family in those communities, and we love it. Before we get going, a quick word from our exclusive CRM provider. Of course, you all know that is Velocity 360, Joe and Brandon over there. Those guys are just awesome. They're getting results. They are offering top-level service, and they're selling more sheds. They are laser-focused on customer service, on being a salesman first business. They know what works. They know how to close. And they know how to help your sales team convert more leads. Give them a call. You can either call them directly. You can click into the link in our newsletter with this episode, or you can call us and we will be happy to set that appointment up with you. They're doing a great job. So having said all of those things, again, I would like to introduce our guest today. That is Mr. Rick Elmore, hailing from beautiful Southern California, originally, and now equally sunny. Maybe not, the temperature may be a little, little higher over there in Arizona from what I can tell, but, tell us about yourself, Rick. I alluded to it just a bit, but you've been a high achiever pretty much your whole life, it looks like.
Sure. Yeah. Well, thanks for having me. It's great to be here. Thanks for the introduction and for the opportunity to be on your podcast. But yeah, I would say a lot of my success has just come from a lot of hard work. I came from a very humble beginnings. First person to go to college. My parents, I would say were like my parents did their best, and I love them to pieces. And I am so appreciative for everything that they did, and they did the best they could. But like, I didn't have no silver spoon. I was again first person to go to college, but my background's pretty unique. I played Division I football. Went to the University of Arizona on a football scholarship.
Go
And
Wildcats.
then go Wildcats. Yeah, have a good basketball team, and every once in a while they have a good football team. When I was there, we went to 3 bowl games out of 4 years, so that was pretty cool. But then I got drafted in 2011 to the Green Bay Packers in the sixth round. I was early on. I kind of share this story because it always used to bother me, but I wear it with a badge or like with honor as like a badge of pride. But my NFL draft, like media like overview of who I was. It said like this guy's an overachiever. He wins with effort, plays above his potential. And I used to think that was like, such a slap across the face, because I was like, hey, I'm like a good football player, like
I'm talented.
I'm talented. It's not just effort. But you go into the real world, now I'm 38 and I couldn't be, more proud to have that as something that identifies me because I truly do believe, um, you know, discipline decides destiny. And if you can have discipline in anything that you're doing to be consistent, over time, it doesn't matter if it's going to make it to the NFL. It took me 15 years, right? To make that dream come true. Doesn't matter if it's in a career, a hobby, starting a business. Discipline decides destiny. If you can show up every single day, control the controllables, right? Attitude, effort, stay consistent over time, that compounding interest of the work, creates something beautiful. And that's just what I've been able to do and like rinse and repeat over and over again. Again, this isn't coming from like parents handing me anything. This isn't, didn't come from money. First person again to go to the college. Nobody's ever been an athlete in my family. It was my drive, right? But after that,
According to your draft profile, neither were you.
what? What in my
I said
draft profile? What do you
according to
mean?
your draft profile, neither were you. I mean, you
I
proved them
know.
wrong.
I know. And but I'm so happy, the NFL work I played for 3 years and I had the typical career, journeyman, jumped around. I never started. I was on special teams, third down pass rusher. But I thought I was going to play until I was 30 and I thought I had the potential, the ability, the skills to do it. But the NFL is a business, it's not for long, it's what it stands for.
Yep.
And got done and I had to reinvent myself. So I was sitting there licking my wounds driving home from the Green Bay when I got cut. And I was like, what am I going to do next? And, I'm a problem solver. My brain just gets to work, okay, like I have to make something happen. What do I do? I started looking at what other athletes did. And I just transitioned into corporate sales. I had no business experience whatsoever. And I don't know why this made sense to me, 15 years ago or 13 years ago, how long it's been. But I was like, I should probably start in sales because like sales is one of the hardest jobs. Like you're gonna get turned down a lot. A lot of the transferable skills from being an athlete, I can just apply here. I don't need all this like marketing or like technology like expertise. The hard work, the dealing with failure, persistence, all those things I already knew how to do. It just fits so
Right.
well into sales. But I got into corporate sales. I went and worked at Stryker. It was a medical company. And again, just took all my transferable skills and I was rookie of the year my first year as an associate rep. And then I hit quota or like busted quota the next 4 years. But it wasn't fulfilling. I had this like inner fire, like inner passion, maybe, is a better word, to do something bigger. And corporate, how they kind of keep you in a box. They don't want you to like get outside like your lane or like, hey, you're a sales rep, just be a sales rep. Don't ask questions, just do what you're told to do. I was like, no, I want to understand the business. I want to understand why we're making these decisions. I want to understand like why businesses grow, why they fail. And partially is because my mom was a small business owner. She was a medical biller and her business like closed in 2008 when the economy crashed.
Yep.
So I was always like in the back of my mind, like I wish I could have helped her. I wish I could have done something, but I was in college, right? But I was like, I want to know like how to weather storms. I want to know how to, own my own destiny, not be, having a business hiring me and firing me and cutting me like I got cut in the NFL, right?
Right.
So I went back and did my MBA. And again, yeah, I went back into my MBA and I was a horrible student because in college, I was always like, I wanted to be outside playing sports.
Right.
Is this a video podcast or is this
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
okay, so it's a video podcast. I always had a football coach who always said school's number one, football's number two. And so
For
that's
those of you listening, the opposite fingers were held up, right?
yeah. So yeah.
The, he's saying what
So
he needs to say, but he's also
exactly.
showing you what he needs to show you.
So that's how
That's
we
right.
treated it. We were there to play football. But, I just kind of breezed through my undergrad and I was like, I want to go back to business school and learn how to start a business. So in 2017, 5 years of my corporate career, I knew I didn't want to be a manager and being corporate forever. So I went back scared the heck out of me because like school was hard for me. But I'm so glad I did because I'm really, really confident what you seek will find you in your journey. So people who feel like something's missing, how you find it is just keep trying things, keep talking to people, keep having conversations, reading books, listening to podcasts, and put yourself out there. And what is meant for you will reveal itself. And that's exactly what happened when I did my MBA. I was about a year into my program. I was in a marketing class, and this professor, and we took 2 3-hour classes once a week. So, it's at the end of this long lecture, my brain's fried. I'm like sitting there trying to write down all these notes. And he's going over all the success rates in marketing, and everything's like super nominal, like super like low. He's like email 1%, direct mail 2%, cold calling 8%. And I don't know if he meant to do this, but he ended the lecture saying something that just, it was a light bulb moment. And he said, "Hey guys, you know what works better now, if not better than ever, is a good old-fashioned handwritten note. They get opened 99% of the time. It's rare. Everyone's inundated with digital noise. And now it's even more apparent in the AI world." And he's like, sit down and send somebody like a handwritten note and just watch what happens. And I was like, man, that's a no-brainer. Absolutely, but who has the time to do it? My wife and I used to sit down and send like a printed Christmas card to my clients, and it would take 2 weekends just to write the address on the envelope and put a printed card in it. But I was like, hey, if there's a way to scale this or automate it, there may be a business use case there. And I got a little pen plotter from China, which is like basically a little drawing machine. And again, I have no tech background. All I did was YouTube. I talked to people. I'm like, hey, this is what I'm trying to do. Do you know someone who can help me? And I got this little drawing robot, did some plugin softwares with like Actually Draw and like Hershey's Text and like all these text editors. And I got to draw out handwritten notes. And I sent out about 500 of them. It took me about 4 or 6 weeks to produce them because it was so slow, but the response rate was insane. These doctors that I would send them to would call me and be like, Rick, like, thanks for the handwritten notes. Like, this is awesome. Like, let's book a lunch and talk about this. And like for about a month, like my phone would just wouldn't stop. It was like it felt like every day someone was calling me about the handwritten note I sent them. And my quota at the time was $50,000 a month, and I sold it's like $280,000 in like 4 to 6 weeks just from handwritten mail.
Yep.
Like that was my entrepreneurial seizure moment. I was like, I had an idea, I tested it, it worked, and then my soul was lit on fire. I was like, this is what I'm gonna do. And I had no idea what I was getting myself into. Again, athlete, sales guy, and fast forward 8 years, what I've done is I've started a robotics engineering, software, industrial automation business with zero experience, zero funding, completely customer funded. And now we have multiple patents. We're the largest provider of automated, smart, handwritten mail in the world. And it's just been an insane journey. And I think it's just a testimony to what you can do if you just commit yourself to something. But what's really important is like know where you want to go and just kind of be loose on the journey. Like you're gonna have to pivot, adjust how you get there, but don't give up on where you want to go, if that makes sense.
If you're in the shed business, you already know the hard part isn't selling. It's keeping everything organized once the orders start coming in. Quotes, dealer orders, change requests, delivery schedules, it adds up fast. Consumer Aligned Logistics, or CAL, is software built specifically for the shed industry. It brings orders, dealer management, integrations, payments, and delivery tracking into one system so nothing slips through the cracks. CAL works with tools like IdeaRoom, ShedPro, and Sensei, and it's designed to adapt to how your business actually operates, not force you into a rigid process. Pricing is volume-based. As you grow, we grow. If you're ready to replace spreadsheets, paperwork, and disconnected tools with one platform built for sheds, head to calcanhelp.com and schedule a demo. Cal helps shed businesses scale with clarity.
Yeah, I mean, and understanding what works, right? Whenever you know it works, whenever the thesis is correct. I was talking to somebody the other day that they're talking about how do you get that 1% success, right? How do you get top 1% success? And the kind of quote that stuck with me was, well, you have to think in a contrarian way. You have to think, against the grain of whatever it is. You have to be right. Right? You
Mhm.
can't think against the grain and be wrong. And then you just have to go make it happen. And you had the vision, you had the idea, you even had the proof, firsthand proof that it works. So you have to figure out how to navigate it, right? Whether that requires, sounds like you've now developed the software that actually takes the little ink blotter machine and turns it into, the value, the actual handwritten notes. Is that part of what that journey was actually figuring
Yeah,
out
it's
the tech side?
what you're talking about is just trial and error.
Yeah.
And I think that's where most entrepreneurs give up. So 9 out of 10 people won't even get started on their idea. And just getting started is a huge success. But then again, 12 months into getting started, 9 out of 10 of those people will fail just because
Right.
they'll give up. And one thing I've always been committed to, it didn't matter if it was in football, corporate America, or being an entrepreneur, is just showing up every day and not quitting and just staying in the fight. If you can just stay in the game long enough, things are going to happen. Your competitors are going to fall off. Other employees are going to quit. Other team members are going to graduate or they're going to quit and they're going to give up. So just staying in the game, having a good attitude, showing up every single day, trying to get 1% better, knowing that some days you're just going to take 3 steps back, but then just showing up the next day and doing it again. That is the secret to success that people don't want to hear, is just being consistent. And I think where most people fall off is they're in something they're not passionate about. And I'm absolutely in love with what I do. I'm a tech guy. Like I love cameras, I love drones, I love computers, I love AI, I love automation. Like it thoroughly interests me. So it just goes hand in hand with the product that I'm selling. And I believe in the product. I grew up in the 90s. I used to write handwritten notes to my friends in class. There's nostalgia to a handwritten note. What's old is cool again. People want to do it, they just don't have the time to do it, and our company helps them do it.
Yeah, and I think, whether you realize it or not, you are speaking the language of the listeners of this podcast. The dedication, the consistency. We had talked just a bit, beforehand, but the shed industry was really built in a blue collar way by a large percentage of Anabaptist folks, and this is the idea, right? Get up and do the work
Yep.
every day, be consistent. And as I was telling you, this is the type of not just marketing strategy, but the sort of satisfaction that you want to be able to give to your customers is
Hmm.
exactly how a lot of the listeners out there who now are manufacturers or they have multi-location dealerships, these are the things that they did whenever they were selling 20, 30, 50 sheds a year. And as your
Yep.
company grows and scales, it becomes unfeasible, for your time and especially, a lot of these people, the owner would be the person who actually wants to do it, but simply can't. So maybe just give the listeners a little bit of an idea, Rick, of, as they you know onboard to your service. They come to you and you do the whole thing and you pitch it and you demo it and all that. But then when it comes to how they actually wind up working through what they want to say and how often that can change and how customized the things can be. Obviously in an ideal world, you're every single note, has a little touch of personality to it. But like what's the reality of kind of what Simply Noted can deliver in that
Sure.
customer experience?
Yeah, great question. So I heard you talk about customization. So everything that we do is customized. So like the card design, the mail piece is completely custom down the recipient. We can do custom handwriting styles, so we can use your handwriting if you want. The envelope's completely handwritten. The note is completely handwritten. We use real first class or standard postage, so we use real stamps. And the real difference maker in our service that really builds a defendable moat around our service really starts with the handwriting robots, because and I got to stop doing this because nobody cares, but I'm so proud of our robots. But we've built and engineered our own handwriting robots that allows us to track these handwritten notes to the mailbox and down to the individual cards. So the two biggest use cases that I've seen, the most successful use cases over the last 8 years, is lead generation. So if your average order value is over like $3,500, it's just a great lead generation tool. It's a 99% open rate. It's personal. Response rates, if with a good list, well, 4%, 12%. So lead generation is great. And then we track it again to the mailbox, and we can automate emails, automate text messages, and then we track the QR codes. So if you sent out 10,000 pieces and 600 people scan the QR code, we actually show you who engaged so you can follow up, automated text message, automated email, automated sequence, automated workflow, whatever, down to that individual user. So it just really increases the response rates and the analytics on the campaign that other handwritten mail services can't do. So like the number one use case for us is lead generation. But the number two, which we've been doing since day one, is just client retention, client relationships. So like sending a thank you card after a purchase, after an invoice is paid, or anniversary of a sale, hey, I hope your sheds, is holding up good. If you need anything, let us know. Or a holiday card, right? Getting those referrals, those positive reviews, and getting these clients to just absolutely love your service and your brand is just going to pay dividends down the road. So, lead generation, client retention are the two biggest use cases, but we've seen so many oddball, off the shelf, weird one-off use cases, but we help people either like scale it just through simple spreadsheets. And again, we can help you guys build lists, enrich lists, do whatever you need, or automate it out of a CRM or automate it off of a payment, whatever way. So that's the weird thing about the service. It's such a new niche, like people are like, what do you do? How do you do it? It's like new service, new technology, new product, new pricing. The lift to get anybody started is so hard. I've learned so much building my first business, and I can't wait to do my next business because I'll take everything I've learned here and scale it a lot faster than I did here. This has just been I call it every time I talk to somebody, a Herculean effort. Like this is a non-standard normal like lift. Like everything here is hard. Everything is hard.
100%.
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking about hardware, software, integration with tracking, integration with companies that at least when you call them the first time were probably like this guy, this guy who's handwriting mail, wants us to provide custom integration with his product. I'm glad you said that though. That was one of both the tracking and the integration portions was where I was going to go next, because I noticed that on your website, and that seems to be obviously something that is such a big part of modern marketing. I mean, at this point, if you can't track it, if you can't prove it, there are so many provable aspects of marketing. It gets really, really hard when you're in those meetings to justify a spend that doesn't have a known quantity. That's not to say that some of them aren't worthwhile, but they're just don't have the data available. So on those, I like that idea of a QR code. I don't know how you do it. See, my mind immediately goes to how do you convince people? What's the little Easter egg, right? I almost can hear the people in this industry having part of their note saying, "My marketing people told me I needed to include a QR code. It has a such and such, if you don't mind to scan it," blah, right? Like you almost write it as if you are the owner who obviously didn't hand draw a QR code, right? You're almost like prompting that way. I'm kind of curious what the strategy is there. Obviously, it sounds like you've got the data side worked out, but like, what do you see working in that sense where you actually get people to do that engagement so that guys like me, CMOs, marketing officers, can walk into a meeting and say, "I told you this was worth the spend."
Yeah.
If you're a regular listener of the Shed Geek podcast, you already know we've been talking a lot about changing dynamics in the shed industry and why diversification of product mix isn't optional anymore if you want to win in this business climate. That's why we're proud to introduce our exclusive providers in two categories that do exactly that: Playmore swing sets and Striker hunting blinds. These are tall, eye-catching structures that grab the attention of adults and children alike as they pass by your shed lot. They create the feeling of anticipation and excitement in the customer, while offering an on-the-lot experience that can be much more interactive, with children testing out rock walls and slides while Dad climbs the bottom entry of a new hunting blind. All of this adds up to making your sales lot not just a place where the community goes for storage solutions, but a provider of all-around property solutions. And it doesn't hurt that these structures have much better margins and customer retention rates than traditional storage buildings. If you want to continue to evolve and succeed in this market moving forward, consider clicking on Stryker or Playmore's digital advertisement in the Shed Geek newsletter. Or just give them a call directly at 330-674-3900 and tell them the Shed Geek sent you. All new dealers who invest over $15,000 in inventory are eligible for free delivery, setup, and on-site training. Playmore swing sets and Stryker hunting blinds. They sell fun, and you can too.
So that was one of the biggest reasons why we built our own handwriting robot. So there's no off-the-shelf handwriting robot that is automatable or has systems that allows you to track mail through the post office or down to the individual handwritten note or individual handwritten mail piece. So you're talking about attribution. And we fought that battle for like the first 5 years. So we're like, oh, did you mail it? I haven't got a call. Or hey, like we think somebody responded and I got sick and tired of hearing it. So now we literally show them and track every single mail piece to the mailbox and say, hey, like according to the post office, this was scanned and delivered. So it's like, this is what the post office is telling us. Oh, by the way, you had a QR code on it. People are scanning your QR code. So we know it was delivered. But in marketing, like data is king, right? So you need to have A, B, C tests, see what is working, test it out so you can make adjustments and scale it. And there's no other handwritten mail company that can do that. There's no tracking down to the notes, no tracking down to the campaign. We have a full data analytics, APIs. You can track all your attribution, so you can actually dial in what's working. But again, it comes down to how you want to use it, right? Like good call to action. We always say less is more, shorter messaging, introduction, call to action, make an ask for lead generation. Like, this is who I am. This is how I can help you. Scan the QR code for X, right? And those messages work and outperform. We've seen it all. We've seen people try to write like 300 words and we're like, what are you doing? Like, they're just going to skim this and it doesn't seem natural, right?
Right.
Make it feel authentic, because a handwritten piece is authentic. Don't take something that's authentic and make it feel marketing or markety. Right? Make the note the relationship building tool to earn trust, right? Like they're already like going to think you're different because you're doing something different. And then use the message to drive them to a call to action to scan a QR code to a landing page with all the information, right? To then let the landing page sell them. But you got to get them to take action, right? And there's a lot of ways to track mail. You can do trackable QR codes, trackable phone numbers, intelligent mail barcodes. There's a lot of ways to track it. But what we do is we sit down with every user. What's your use case? What do you want to see? And then we help them set it up. So it's all custom.
Yeah, very good. So, like I've kind of said here, there is a little bit of a gap in that sort of technology side in parts of the business. Is there, could you onboard a person who was just going to, call Simply Noted, call you all and kind of do this in a simpler way, so to speak? Or does this kind of require being able to do all the online stuff to be able to do that?
You can just go to our website, simplynoted.com, and just upload a spreadsheet and send it, or you can just send one card. Or we have a customer success team, like say, hey, here's my mailing list, go do it for me. And our customer success team will handle it for you. But there's just a lot that goes into like direct mail that people don't really realize. Like there's design, right? How do you want your mail piece to look? Messaging and copy, like what do you want it to say? How are you going to track it? You want to do a trackable QR code or a trackable phone number? Where are you going to send this data? Are you going to send it to your CRM? A workflow, a sequence, whatever, right? So like the marketers who have the experience in setting up like fully integrated like direct mail campaigns will get a lot more success, right? But again, we use I would say like less than 30% of our business is super deeply integrated. Most of it is like just spreadsheets. Like people just bring a spreadsheet, upload it, and send a bulk. I mean, it's just
Yep.
the easiest way for them to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that makes sense. And then on the other end of that, I guess I then start to think, uh, especially in this industry, how impactful it would be to get a handwritten note from, say, the production manager, after you've had your shed for, you get the handwritten note from the owner the week after your shed's delivered, right? Saying
Mhm.
thank you for the purchase. But then 6 months after that, you then get a handwritten letter from the production manager, who's actually in charge of building the sheds and making sure the quality control is good. And to your point, you're now checking, kind of checking up on that customer, and you're kind of getting these multiple personalities. One of the things that I have really encouraged our clients at Shed Geek Marketing, or if whenever we do consulting, one thing that I've really encouraged is put your people out there, right? When you have good personalities in your
Mm.
company, right? Like allow them, if there's ever a time in the world where people want to trust the person on the other side of a screen, and they want you to have that trusting face available to them. Obviously, we're not talking about a face here, but in that same sense, put your people out there. Do you have companies that use it in that way? You said you've had some oddballs, so I'm sure people have thrown some cool stuff at you.
Yeah, we've seen some interesting stuff in the political space, but I really try to like consult our clients to keep it simple. Don't
Yep.
overcomplicate it. Especially for like client retention, client relationships. Like if you want, you can automate a thank you card, or you can just export all your customers in like Christmas in July, right? Like everyone's dead in the summer. And a lot of people start spending money at the end of the year for tax purposes, right? So maybe smart to reach out to them in July or August, right? Like, hey, hope you're doing good, X off your next shed or 10% referral, whatever, right? And that can reignite your pipeline. You can get more reviews, you can ask for referrals, or just simple holiday cards at the end of the year. Because I always tell people, it's like if your customers didn't pay their invoices, you couldn't pay your bills or you wouldn't get a paycheck. So like, why wouldn't you spend $1 to say thank you, right? I mean, if your average order value is in the thousands of dollars, right? And just once a year say thank you, what is that going to do for your business? Like next time they need something, they're going to come to you because you're making the effort, somebody else isn't. Or next time they're talking to a friend and they're asking about something like this, you're going to come top of mind versus like, being out of mind, right?
Yeah.
So just like simple thank you cards and holiday cards, it's the best way to protect your pipeline, to protect your customer base, get more referrals, better reviews, increase repeat purchases, right? Because you're just touching them differently that nobody else is. And then again, just lead generation, I don't know the average order value in your space, but if it's over $3,500 with a good list, it pays for itself. Like, one mailing, you should get, for 3,000 notes, at least a 2 to 3% response rate. You're looking at, I don't know, what is that? 90 leads? Like, what are you going to do with that, right?
Yep.
Like 60, 90 leads. What are you going to do with that, right? Like, can you close 20% of those? Like, do the ROI, right? And the mailbox is empty right now. And just think about it. In the 90s, you used to have to go there with like a big like cart to pull all the mail out of there, right? And everybody's trying to like zig and go digital and AI, but the people that are like playing in the mailbox are hitting customers differently than most people. And that's where you want to stand out. You want to be different. How are you going to be different than everybody else?
All right, shed and carport industries, let's talk about the part of the shed and carport business nobody puts on the brochure. The moment a customer says, "We love it, we just need to think about the money." That's exactly why J-Money is the exclusive finance partner of the Shed Geek podcast. Because here's the truth. The need for steel buildings and storage buildings exists, but often the money isn't available, or they just don't want to drain their savings. And when you can offer financing at the point of sale, it's a game changer. Conversion rates jump 20 to 30%, and average sale size can increase 30 to 50%. With J-Money Loan Solutions, the process is fast, simple, and paperless. They offer unsecured loans from $1,000 to $100,000, with terms up to 20 years, and it's nationwide. You, the contractor, choose from free plans or promotional plans, like no interest, no payment options. Funds get distributed directly to you. You control when you get paid, and there are no sign-up fees and no annual fees. Even better, there's no recourse to you if a customer doesn't pay. Stop letting "we'll think about it" steal your next sale. Offer financing with J-Money and grow like a pro. Check them out at jmoneyllc.com and tell them the Shed Geek podcast sent you.
Yeah, I totally agree. And some of our listeners may take that a bit for granted, because if you are the type that writes personal correspondence, to your friends and to your family, but for most consumers out there, the only thing that winds up in my mailbox anymore is like the city of Metropolis, continues to send out a bill, and I'm on the city council, so I should probably bring up an ordinance that says we need to go paperless. But it's basically the old school companies that are just still not going paperless. It is your weekly little flyer, and then it is spam, more or less, right? It's mail spam. But whenever you get something that has the appearance, we actually just everybody in the country has just gone through graduation season, right? And wedding season is upon us, and will move through the summer and into the fall. And how special is it whenever we do get that handwritten piece of mail? I know that if I am the person who takes it out of the mailbox, I make sure to read it myself, and I hand it to my wife personally and say, read this. This is from XYZ, right? And if she opens the mailbox, she reads it herself, and then she puts it directly into my hand. I mean, that is the power of how special it is to get handwritten mail these days. And I think in the industry, and especially, in the Anabaptist communities, maybe we take that a little for granted because it's slightly more common. But if you're getting the power of that feeling into the consumer's hands, who is basically only getting a handwritten piece of mail if one of their nieces or nephews is wanting a $50 bill for graduation, now you're now really starting to make that impact. So this makes so much sense to me. It just really aligns so well with the values of the industry. Just for your information, Rick, depending on which market you're in, whether you're in the South, in the North, in the West, most people agree 5,800 to 6,400. And that's maybe gone up even a little bit this year, a little bit of inflation in that retail pricing, but it's exactly what you're saying. Even if it is nothing but an addition, an addition to your current operations, for that 89 cents, I believe, if I read that right on your website, 69 or 89 cents.
Yep, 89 cents plus postage. So postage is just a pass-through cost. Yep.
I mean, it is absolute no brainer on the post sale side, right? If you're out there and you're selling, you know, 200, 300, 400 buildings a year, absolute no brainer to spend some money, making sure that those people feel valued, make sure that you're getting those reviews, make sure that you're getting those referrals because you're building that relationship. But even on the cold mail side, as you said, whenever you're going to get an immediately responsive, if those people give you a call or reach out after that, those are very, very high quality, high intention leads, right? So, I really like it. In fact, I believe a sample is in the mail to me. I did not get it here before our meeting, but I'm very much looking forward to it. And I might even purposely not get the mail. I think it's supposed to be here by Friday or so. I may even let my wife get it because I want to see her. Okay, there we go.
This is what's coming, so it's impossible to miss. It's a big, big kit. Yeah. I want to touch on something you just said. You were saying it like a minute or two ago. This is not replacing anything that you do. I always think of, it's a tool in your tool belt, right? A master technician has a tool for every job, right? And what is your relationship building tool right now? An automated email? And I guarantee you 9 out of 10 people that are listening to this right now are going to say, I don't know, like we send an email, and they're probably not confident they're even doing that. So it's just a tool to help you do a job that's important to what you do. And relationships in every business is important, right? But then for lead generation, I mean, I wouldn't replace anything that you're doing. I would try it, a few times a year to specific lists. That makes sense. But I mean, it's a no-brainer. Every single day, every single week, every single month, you should be sending a thank you note. You should, in a holiday card. Like it's just, you have 400 clients or 600 clients, like, I don't know how much revenue that brings you guys, but 600 bucks to send 600 handwritten notes. Like you can't even go to Hallmark and buy 600 Hallmark cards for 600 bucks, and then let alone sit down and write them, and everything's custom. So like every note will say their name. You can even like input like what they bought. Thank you for buying this product, whatever. Like it's all custom. It's going to feel very personal. We can use your handwriting. We can put your signature on it. It's just, it's so cool. Again, I walked to our warehouse. Our warehouse is right outside my office, and I still walk in here every day. And I'm just like, what is this? Like, how cool is this? Like, I'm so amazed because like what it's doing. And we have, we work with vets, we work with insurance, we work with real estate, we work with small business. And yeah, it's just lead generation, client retention. There's just a two no-brainer, like, seeds that should be planted. And what are we doing, to build these relationships with our clients? How are we getting more reviews? How are we getting referrals? How are we getting repeat purchases? And I fight that same battle. I'm trying to increase my average order value, repeat purchases, lifetime value of a client as a business owner. And I use my own product all the time. But it's like they're buying my product and then I'm also sending them my product, right?
They know.
So,
Yeah.
I'm trying to like get on a phone and just like personally call like our
Yeah.
top customers every month. Like, hey, thanks for working with us. How did it go? What can we do better? And people just appreciate that, but most people don't take the time to do that,
Yeah.
So I would just say make a mindful, conscious effort to invest back into the people that are helping you build your business and employees, customers, it doesn't matter because relationships at the end of the day will always matter in business.
That's right. And right now, as the shed industry goes through a bit of consolidation, as companies are growing fast and gobbling up market share. I mean, these are the strategies that are competitively give you a competitive advantage, right? We're in a very interesting time in the industry right now, where companies are going to make their mark and are going to kind of break away from the pack and kind of establish, what the shape of the industry is like for, for the next 5 to 10 years. And, thinking outside the box, using techniques that others don't, especially techniques that are engaging your customer with a personal message. I know if in fact, I would really like to have a second meeting here, Rick, because I think Shannon and I, would be interested in using this for our shed lots for Shed Geek Structures. And we also need to introduce you to several of the operators in the industry so that these things could potentially be integrated into whether it be 3D design. Someone's completed a design, but maybe they didn't finish
Mhm.
it. You shoot them out a note that just says,
Mhm.
"Hey, noticed you were looking. If you're still interested,
Yep.
like all the way through that system, we're all now doing. Thanks to Joe, you heard me do the ad read at the top there, Rick. Thanks to Joe and
Mhm.
the guys over at Velocity 360, we're all very well educated, and a lot of us have integrated the CRM tools. But this is just another piece of that is another touch point, and really allows an even more personal interaction. So, Rick, if you would tell everybody what the best way to get a hold of you is, and if you're
Sure.
out there, I would highly encourage go and look at this website because, as Rick said, walking through the warehouse, they actually have videos of what his operation looks like, and it's incredible to watch. I mean, it's a full room that looks like a server room that has all these ink blotters, I guess is what they're called, that are just working away all the time, and it's really something to behold. So, carry us out here, Rick.
Yeah. 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 220 custom built handwriting robots. That's probably what you're staring at. But yeah, Simply Noted, just Simply Noted is our website. We always recommend people just, we send you a free sample kit, like no strings attached. Just go to simplynoted.com. It's like the main call to action button, request a sample. And we send you a 10 by 13 package with everything in it, handwritten envelopes, handwritten cards, styles, marketing materials, pricing, prepaid packages, whatever. All that's included. And then my best like social media platform, I'm on LinkedIn all day. I don't really do like Meta, Facebook, any of that stuff, but LinkedIn, I'm on there all day. If anybody wants to connect with me, it's just find me there. I kind of dig through all like the automated messages I get, and then if I see it's genuine, I'll respond. But yeah, I would just, again, I'm not trying to oversell this product. I think it's a unique product to have. I just know there's other parts of your business you absolutely have to have, like, ads and a CRM. But this is just something, that's different that most technicians don't have that tool in their tool belt yet. So I would just like strongly, encourage people like take a step back and it's like, hey, how am I building my relationships with my clients right now? What's the best way to do it? What's the most cost efficient way of doing it? What's the most efficient way possible to do it? Is it an email? Is it a phone call? Is it a conference? I don't know. Like, how are you providing value and building those relationships?
That's
And
right.
I would, say handwritten notes probably the most genuine, scalable way to do it right now because of a service like Simply Noted.
I agree. I think it's fantastic. I appreciate your time. Uh, lots to take in out there, but again, reach out to Rick. We will have the link to everything that he just told you to his website in the episode description in the newsletter. So go and click there for a direct click through. You can always reach out to us again, 309 618 309 3648. Give us a call, shoot us a text. We'll be happy to make that connection for you as well. Rick, thank you so much for joining us today on the podcast. And honestly, I hope to be able to revisit you in 6 months, 9 months, a year, and we can tell some stories of how some shed industry people have had success with Simply Noted, and maybe we'll be one of them. I would love to be one of them. So let's keep the conversation going.
Well, let me know when you get that sample kit.
Will do. Will do. Thank you, everyone, for listening, and I will see you next time on the Shed Geek Podcast. Today's Friday edition of the Shed Geek Podcast was brought to you by Shed Geek Marketing. If your company is looking to increase leads, strengthen your brand presence, improve digital visibility, or simply stop wasting money on marketing that doesn't work, you're in luck. Shed Geek Marketing was built specifically for this industry and has assembled the absolute best providers from across the country that, bottom line, bring you the results. From dealer startups to nationwide manufacturers, we help businesses connect better, market smarter, and grow with intention. Interested in becoming a title sponsor of the Shed Geek Podcast or advertising across the Shed Geek Media Network? Reach out today at info@shedgeek.com and ask for the 2026 Shed Geek Media Kit. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time right here on the Shed Geek Podcast.